Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Marketplace Growth by Accoil, where we are all about helping marketplace partners selling on the Atlassian Marketplace grow their business and get a good grip on what's going on in the ecosystem. I had the distinct pleasure of going to High Velocity in Sydney last week, and I've got 5 takeaways from High Velocity event itself and some meetings with Atlassian, solution partners, and marketplace partners. Let's get into those. First thing I want to talk about is service management for all. Now, more teams are adopting service management. I think that was a really clear message coming through from the stage and from conversations I had. Now, of course, this was a Jira Service Management event, so we are talking about ITSM at the heart of everything. But the customers on the stage, like Domino's and NRMA, had some really cool stories about how they're leveraging Jira Service Management across many more teams than just IT, in an attempt to consolidate around tooling and, of course, reduce price. And some of the use cases that they shared were involving HR teams, legal teams, finance, and marketing. So there's an opportunity to get involved with more teams beyond just IT. So what's the takeaway for me on this for marketplace partners? If I were building for non-tech teams like HR, for example, I would look for ways that JSM helps those customers and then see if I could find niche use cases or even niche teams within those bigger teams, ways that I can help them really extract value out of Jira Service Management and the whole Atlassian platform. If I were back in the marketplace, that's what I would be looking for, ways to really expand upon the use cases that Jira Service Management already provides and making it a super valuable platform with the addition of my own app, of course, to those different non-tech teams. Number 2, are you enterprise ready? Thought it was really cool to see Atlassian announce their acquisition of AirTrack, and congrats to the AirTrack team and to the Melbourne tech scene. I think that's really exciting to see Atlassian focusing in back on home territory here. But anyway, what does this acquisition mean or signal for Atlassian customers and marketplace partners? At a simple level, product-wise, it's helping JSM and JSM customers track more assets. It's comprehensive asset management. It's going to make it a lot easier to track all of the things that you own. Do not track ballpoint pens though. Post-its, please don't do that. And what does that signal? It signals to me that Atlassian is going enterprise, even more so, leaning into that enterprise space. And so what does that mean for marketplace partners? To me, it means if Atlassian's going enterprise, I need to start thinking enterprise as well. And that means walking that out a bit. Things like data security, data controls, how am I presenting myself? Is my documentation up to par and up to the expectations of enterprise clients? A lot of this stuff will be checkboxes for the clients and the customers, but in order to get, say, SOC 2 compliance, that can take a while. And now's probably the best time to start that so you can follow Atlassian along this journey towards these bigger customers. If I'm thinking about moving from SMB up to enterprise clients, I'm thinking about different use cases that they might have, different teams that they might have. And then again, going back to that whole idea of if Jira Service Management is becoming service management for all, and that is starting to take hold in the market, what are some of the other teams? What are some of the niche use cases that we can help with? And I'll talk about this in a bit as well, but I think it gets down to that workflow level. Is how can I influence or help that workflow for different teams at the enterprise level, teams that you might not see at smaller companies. I definitely don't mean that anybody should get distracted by this and start chasing enterprise features and requirements and certifications and all that stuff. If you've got a good business going with a lot of customers in a different but not enterprise space, you've got to keep serving them, right? Keep the business staying healthy. I would just be looking towards the future. What does Atlassian's move to enterprise mean for my business? It gives you a lot to think about, and I think it's really exciting. The third thing, and in case you can't read my writing, the marketplace is getting busy. There are a lot of partners, there are a lot of apps, and there's a lot of competition coming into the space. I was fortunate enough to get to spend the week in Sydney. So at the High Velocity event, talking to solution partners, marketplace partners, Atlassians, and customers, of course, and also got to go to the Atlassian offices to join in on a conversation between marketplace partners and the marketplace team at Atlassian. And I think it's really outstanding that they brought people in to do that. And it was a great conversation that we got to join in on. Something that came up over the course of the week a few times was discoverability. How is Atlassian helping customers find the right fit high quality products that they can add to Jira Service Management, Jira Software, Confluence, etc. How is that happening from the marketplace side and from the product side? I've got two key takeaways after I had some time to think about this. And the first one is, and please don't hate on me about this one, Marketplace Partners, but it's not Atlassian's job to promote your app. Now, as nice as it would be to be constantly shown in staff picks and new apps and trending apps and being shown in the product, in the right place, where the customers are, as much as I would love that, I don't think you can count on that. And whatever changes happen from now on, Atlassian is trying to give their users and their customers the best experience possible. Part of that is surfacing the right apps to go with their core products. But in the absence of that, it is on the marketplace partner to do some marketing, do some sales, get into the community, talk to customers, talk to solution partners, and talk to Atlassians as well. I know you'd rather be coding, but it's important to show up at events like they had in Sydney last week. It's important to get on the plane and go talk to customers. I promise you, and I can say this from experience with Proforma, that the more you show up, it has this compounding effect. The more solution partners you meet, the more customers you meet, and the more Atlassians you meet, and actually the more marketplace partners you meet, the more that all builds and stacks on itself. And you do end up with a really nice momentum going, but you do have to get on the plane and show up. I know it ain't cheap, and I know it's not always possible, but it's so important because this whole ecosystem is really still driven a lot by relationships. And that brings me to number 4, that Atlassians are listening. Now, as a marketplace partner, it may feel like you're shouting into the void. However, speaking to Atlassians, I can tell you that they are seeing and they're hearing what you're saying and that they are paying attention. It may not be within their power, or just there may be so many competing priorities that it's hard to get to everything. And whether we're talking about requests for comments or in-person meetings or round tables or what have you, they are listening. They can hear you from the marketplace. I'm not saying that Atlassian is doing everything right. I think it's important to remember that there are good human beings on the other end of those Slack messages, those chats, those RFCs, all that sort of stuff, that there's a team behind that working really hard to make things happen for you. Having been within Atlassian, there is a ton going on. There's a lot of complexity to the whole thing. Not making excuses, but just keep that in mind as you go, that there is a team there listening. They are working really, really hard to try to make this as good as possible for both customers and marketplace partners. It underscores the importance of showing up. It underscores the importance of continuing to speak up. So say what you have to say. By all means, the more that you can voice your concerns, your recommendations, your comments, the more people will hear it, the more it will resonate, and the more likely it is that something will happen about it. One last thing on communicating with Atlassian as a marketplace partner is that it's really important to be blunt, friendly about it. If you have a question or if you have a suggestion about something, what I saw work last week was very candid and frank discussions saying, this does not work, that didn't work, I like this, here's why. Giving a clear feedback to the Atlassian team makes their job a lot easier, means that they don't have to interpret what you want. Last thing I'll talk about, and this will surprise nobody, is AI. Atlassian announced a lot of new AI features being baked into Jira Service Management. Codegeist, also happening around the same time, was all about AI. And if you haven't gone to check out those 138 entries to Codegeist, it's definitely worth your time. AI is moving incredibly fast, and we are still very much in the early days of it. But as a marketplace partner, I would look at workflow levels that I can help with. And what do I mean by that? I mean, what are the workflows that my product currently supports and fits into? Or if I'm thinking about building for the marketplace, what workflows can I see based around Atlassian products that I can either expand the capabilities of, or I can maybe shrink the workload on the humans? I would look at the workflow level, how I can maximize capabilities or really decrease time spent on menial tasks that maybe I really don't like doing. There's a ton of opportunity for marketplace partners to get into AI and start thinking about, again, just that workflow level. How can you support teams? And if we're talking JSM here, that's going to be more and more teams. How can you support those teams using that core product, making their lives easier, making the core product better, making it faster, making it higher impact for teams to really move at high velocity. Wrapping it all up, I learned a ton last week. It was a great event and it was fantastic to meet people in person. So cool to get out and hear directly from customers, from marketplace partners, solution partners, and of course, Atlassians, what's going on, what are they concerned about, and what are they thinking about? And if I can underscore one thing as a takeaway from last week, it's to get out there as a marketplace partner, meet the people that you're doing business with. You are in a partnership, not just with Atlassian, but with solution partners, customers, other marketplace partners, other vendors. It's just so important to have those direct one-on-one immediate relationships across the ecosystem. Quick recap of what we talked about today. Number one, more opportunities are coming as Jira Service Management moves into service management for all. Number two, Atlassian is definitely going enterprise, and it's an opportunity for marketplace partners to go enterprise too. Number three, the marketplace is getting competitive. It's time to get out there, promote your apps, and make yourself known. Number four, Atlassians are listening. And if you're a marketplace partner, the way that I like to look at this is to treat Atlassian like a customer. Keep them informed, let them know what you're building, try to get that feedback from them too. Number five, do you need a plan for AI? If your app supports workflows where AI can help, I think it's worth having a look at. It's not going to be for everybody, but it's worth paying attention to and keeping an eye on where Atlassian is going. Hey guys, if you like that video, hit subscribe. Help us build a catalog of amazing marketplace partner content you're not going to find anywhere else. We publish one of these every single week. And if you prefer to read about this content instead of watching these videos, head over to accoil.co and sign up for the newsletter today. See ya.